Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Luke Pipala Show.
101.
With Shide. Yes, sir. We have big news, and we're just going to put it up on the screen. So, Kamala Harris had a couple of big endorsements this weekend. You guys know Lizzo, right? You know Lizzo.
The resident fat whale? Yes, I am aware. Skinny fat whale now.
Well, we're actually big fans of Lizzo, believe
I know
it or
you
not.
are. Don't wrap me into we. I know you're a big fan of Lizzo.
Her last album I have played front to back multiple times, and it's not that bad. And we kind of do like Lizzo because Lizzo has started to lose weight recently, and she's really been working on herself. But this set her light years back. So Lizzo just endorsed Kamala Harris, and she was at a rally. And we're just gonna play this for you guys, and you'll see how outrageous the statement is.
I'm so proud to be from this city. You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit. Okay? Proud like Detroit. Resilient like Detroit. I'm so proud to be.
What? Okay, so Shide, you actually pulled up the numbers on Detroit.
It's ranked the second It's ranked the second least safe city in the United States. The second least safe city in the United States.
And so obviously this is not, you don't want to be like Detroit.
There's not a single United States citizen right now, even living in Detroit, that wants the United States to be like Detroit. Okay? What the fuck are we talking about here, Lizzo?
Jobless, houses growing through trees growing through the houses.
Crime levels, obviously, like I said, it's the second least safe city.
People are running away from Detroit.
Exactly. And if they're not running away, they're getting murdered there.
Exactly. So to say that we're going to make the whole United States like Detroit, no.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea, first off. And second off, too, I mean, we could pull up the stats. I know you were looking at stats.
I was trying to find them. They weren't telling. I mean, they were saying that it was down. Crime rate was down 15%.
And Detroit is kind of making a comeback in terms of its economy. But still, I mean, it is nowhere near like the model that America should strive towards.
No, and that's the thing. Like, we saw Donald Trump obviously compare to Detroit and say that.
Well, that's what they're talking about first off.
Right. So that was what I was prefacing everything with, was we saw Donald Trump talk about Detroit and talk about the shithole that Detroit is. Because, I mean, let's be real here, folks. There's not a single big city in the United States that we can't look at and say it's kind of shitty, you know?
It's sad because it's not really the people's fault per se. It's all these corporations. They decided to choose more profits over the American worker. And as a result, they bankrupted all these great traditional American cities like Detroit and shipped all the jobs overseas to like China and Mexico. And I mean, it's sad. We laugh about it.
No, I wasn't laughing about that. That was a really shitty time to laugh.
But like even our own city, man, we're not going to say where we're recording from, but like we live in the Midwest and it's the same thing.
Right.
GM was a big force here, and it was relatively recently where they closed the plant here. Yep. A lot of people had jobs and a lot of people lost it. And so people are hurting. I get it. But I mean, to circle back one more time, the fact that you want to make the United States like one of the worst cities in America, still Detroit, is just laughable.
So it's funny because what I was laughing about was the fact that I just remembered that underneath that post, some lady put, "Detroit is beautiful. I went once," or "I went there. My car got broken into once, and I got mugged twice." So I mean, like, it just it ties it all together.
He's laughing about people losing their jobs, by the way.
Yes, it is very funny. I like when people get hurt. I like when their families suffer. I enjoy it.
Obviously, we're kidding. We're kidding.
No, I'm not. I mean, if you're going to vote for Kamala Harris, I mean, and then you guys end up suffering, I mean, it's only going to be comical. I'll probably be suffering as well. That's the thing.
I know.
The only thing you could do is sit back and laugh, you know?
And speaking of Kamala, actually, at that same rally, right? So Lizzo endorsed at that rally. And then I think that day, or a day after, Usher endorsed Kamala Harris. And guys, if you don't know something about Usher, we actually covered this 3 weeks ago. Usher went on The View, and he refused to endorse Kamala Harris. All right, so we're going to play that video for you. And I really want you guys to understand, like, what a 180 flip this was. So here we go. This is Usher on The View. Like, this is, September 22nd, right? So almost a month ago.
Yeah. God, joy.
I know. Here we go. This is Usher on The View.
So you're supporting Kamala Harris in this election, I understand.
Yes.
Well, good for you. After the assault on the old guy last night, do you feel sorry for him or at all?
You know what? I feel sorry that I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was actually performing at Barclays and felt a little irresponsible to have 14 people's undivided attention on something that they really should have been focusing on, which was the debate. I mean, it's been a lot of talk this morning, huh?
But you know, Taylor Swift has now endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And she was I thought, very smart the way she did it. It was like, you do your research and you decide for yourselves, but a single cat woman, as she points to, I am voting for Kamala. Do you think, I always say that in this emergency that we're in, I think that the Who's artists should come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say?
Shut the fuck up, Joy Behar. I know this is from
I didn't
forever
get a chance
ago,
to watch the debate last night.
Fuck, does it piss me? I know we're getting to the part,
Right.
but fuck, does it piss me off?
I know. All right, but listen, this is when Usher says he's not going to endorse.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be, and find the candidate that you feel both who fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a little bit long, and I apologize, everybody. But look what he said, right? He's saying, he's not openly saying vote for Kamala Harris. He says, do your research, right? This is back in September 22nd. Do your research, and it's your prerogative. Who you're going to vote for is who you're going to vote for, okay? All right, whatever. So then we fast forward to last night, and this is a video from last night. We're not going to play the whole thing, but what did you think about this, man, before we start? 'Cause this is really telling.
I mean, before we do this, I just want to preface that I remember back in 2017, now, according to the Radar Online, they published documents concerning a lawsuit by a celebrity stylist who claimed Usher had infected her with herpes. I remember this being a huge thing. They did settle for $1.1 million. So just going back to, I think, Luke and I's point of, listen, we're going to find folds in every single person, every single celebrity that's going to go up there and endorse a presidential candidate. So stop fucking using celebrities to talk for you. Usher doesn't know dick about politics. Lizzo doesn't know dick about politics.
Well, she knows about dick.
She knows about dick. She also knows about bananas.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like, I just don't fucking understand. That sounded really racist.
No, different. It's a story.
Yeah,
it's a story.
She was ramming him up someone's asshole.
That's right. Wow. No, it was actually the other hole. I think.
It is right. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're gonna sit here and you're gonna say that picking a presidential candidate is for you, what's best with your household, but then literally, what was it, 2 months later, or not even
a month later.
A month later, he's gonna go out and he's gonna campaign for Walz for Walz and Kamala. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
All right, so you saw Usher on The View last month talk about voting is your prerogative, right? You're going to make your own decision. Well, here is a video of Usher endorsing Kamala. He's at the rally and endorsing her full on. I think it's a little bit telling because I think the Diddy allegations, somebody got to him, right? We can all point that out.
Oh my God, I can't wait to,
Somebody got to him. So here we go. Here's Usher. We're not going to play the whole thing.
To entertain, but today was something far, far more significant for Atlanta.
Why is he touching his face?
And all of Georgia. You know, it's really great to be home. I'm here, home for my past, present, future tour, but took a quick break from that to come here, share a few words with you about the significance of this moment.
Why
I
does it look
feel
like he's dressed in like
this is a
Bro,
momentous
he
opportunity
looks like he's
for each
wearing
and every one of us.
18 articles
You
of
know,
clothing.
it's just 17 days away from a very important election, as we all know, and we have the opportunity to choose a new generation of leadership for our country.
I thought it was your prerogative, Shad.
Yeah, apparently not.
Look at all those people.
We all know what it means to be supportive, but ladies and gentlemen, we are here to support the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen.
That's enough of this stupid shit.
By the way, he said Kamala,
I heard.
but whatever. It is what it is. He's
He
a
doesn't
black
know what
man.
the
She's
fuck
not going to
he's talking
correct him.
about. No,
okay,
absolutely
but like,
not.
don't you think it's weird how like a month ago Usher said, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna in the View clip, he
Right,
said,
right,
I'm
right.
gonna vote for Kamala, but whatever her name is, but voting is your prerogative.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you. And then a month later, he literally goes to her rally and endorses her.
Right.
So I think the Diddy allegation, something has to
It
has to be there.
I mean, honestly, it has to be the Diddy allegations. I heard things. I mean, I texted you last night that I heard things about him being in the UK. I don't know anything about that, but him like being in the UK, whether that was for tour, disappearing, laying low, whatever the fuck. I mean, but
something
like,
has to be there,
yeah,
dude.
there has to be.
They
something
had to
that's
have
gonna
called him and
stick.
said, like, listen, like, things are going to get out,
Right.
or you could come and you can endorse her, and
Right.
maybe this
Right.
thing holds off.
Yeah.
I think Usher's implicated no matter what. He, Justin Bieber was signed to him, and all of that stuff that went down. We're not going to rehash that out, but I really think he's implicated in it. And listen,
Yeah.
I think he might be a victim too. He was living with Diddy. Diddy talks about how they were fighting over the cornflakes.
I mean, we
Do you remember that?
we just covered Usher
Like 3 weeks ago.
Usher and Diddy, you know, with when Usher was on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just very funny that it's
Talking
all
about he was 13 years old. And
right. It's all very full circle, and you can connect a lot of dots. I think genuinely, I think you can connect a lot of dots.
But going forward, to kind of close this whole segment off, man, I feel like the era of the celebrity endorsement, this is it. This is the last one.
It has to be. I'm so fucking sick of the celebrity endorsement. Like, I don't understand what you get from a celebrity endorsement. What does that mean for you? Your life is going to ultimately change, and that person's life is not going to change one lick.
And traditionally, the celebrity endorsement has come from the left. I can
Always.
think of Jay-Z. You have Beyonce. You had Kanye back in the day.
Yeah.
All these, and now the politicians on the left too, right? The retired presidents. You
Yeah.
have your Bill Clinton. You have your Obama.
Right.
Going on to other celebrities.
And
You have Oprah.
Right. I mean, and we can get
Tom
in-
Hanks, George Clooney.
Yeah.
And so all these people have been paraded out by the left to say, I mean, mostly targeting the black community
Yeah.
in terms of the black athletes and rappers and actors,
Right,
actresses,
and
celebrities.
because they're all pandering to the black community. They want to get the black men out to vote. We
But
saw
now-
the bombshell with,
but now,
with
bro-
Barack and how shitty that was.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too
Yeah.
later on. But like now, bro, especially the black community, they're waking up and saying, listen, this is not impacting us.
Right.
I mean, more and more, I see more and more black conservatives online and even in person, bro. People I know saying, oh yeah, I'm voting for Trump, and they
Oh,
happen
yeah.
to be black.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so I think this is the end of the celebrity endorsement. Like, you can't go further here. And even then, Trump has more celebrity endorsements now than I've ever seen for a Republican candidate.
Yeah.
Going back to 2020, 2016, okay, he had Kanye obviously in there, whatever. But before that, bro, Mitt Romney, John McCain, George Bush, like, I don't remember. I mean, I actually remember, like, paying attention to these presidential
Yeah.
campaigns.
Yeah.
Even when the Avengers came out, right? This is a kind of a different tangent. The Avengers comes out, and I'm like 11 years old, following politics, yes, just looking up all these people, their political affiliations, and it's like, why are they all Democrat?
Yeah.
And then that's when I started to kind of educate myself and think, oh, like,
Realize-
everybody in Hollywood is like that.
Yep.
So the pandering, man, I don't know. When you see
The pandering
the
never stops, and honestly, like, I don't even know, to your point, if the pandering will ever stop. I don't know if we'll ever stop seeing the Democratic, supporters from Hollywood, and everybody
Well-
endorsing her from Hollywood.
But I think in the future we're gonna have people in Hollywood like being more quiet about things, because now with the rise of Twitter, right, X,
Yeah.
they can't control it anymore, and so now they're kind of gauging, like, people on the internet, their voice is being heard.
Yeah.
And so people are saying, like, why is this happening? They're making fun of it. It's not working.
Right.
And you could tell in the polls it's not working. We'll see what happens in the election. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the celebrity endorsement is over. To segue to a sadder story, speaking of celebrity, Liam Payne from One Direction, or formerly One Direction, passed away over the week. It's tragic, too.
Yeah.
When did you hear about this?
I think I got a Fox News update when it happened. Or no, actually, I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, man, very tragic.
Yeah, it is sad. Honestly, I mean, I can't say that I listen to much One Direction, but I mean, I have a sister, and obviously I have women in my life that did listen to One Direction. Also, I see the pandemonium from everybody sharing it on their Instagram stories and such. So
Yeah, man.
obviously I know it's a sad thing. It seems like it was a suicide from what I'm hearing, but I
Yeah.
also hear that there were drugs involved. I don't really know.
This is an article from CNN, so it's just right here. Liam Payne, former One Direction member, dies after hotel balcony fall. Liam Payne, former member of the boy band One Direction, has died after falling from the third floor of a hotel
Oh, he
in
had a
Buenos
kid.
Aires, Argentina, according to local police. Payne, who was 31, leaves behind a 7-year-old son, Bear. Police said when they discovered Payne's body after the emergency services responded to a call from staff at a hotel where the pop star was staying in the city's trendy Palmero or Palermo neighborhood. Sorry, fellas. Payne rocketed to the global stardom as part of One Direction, the massively popular boy band that was created in the British version of The X Factor in 2010. The group, which included members Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, Niall Horan, and Zayn Malik, announced an indefinite hiatus in 2016. Staff at the hotel had requested urgent police assistance shortly after Payne's death on Wednesday, according to an emergency call obtained by CNN's Argentine affiliate, Todo Noticias. I'm sorry. We have
These foreign names are killing
I
you.
know. We have a guest who is overwhelmed with drugs and alcohol, the hotel manager said in the call. He breaks things up. He is tearing the whole room apart. The manager told the call operator that because Payne's room had a balcony, we're a little afraid that he'll do something. Earlier this month, the pop star was seen in Argentina attending his former bandmate Horan's concert. CNN has reached out to the representatives for Payne, as well as his former One Direction bandmates, for comment.
Yeah. It's sad.
So
It's very sad.
I'm talking to my fiance about this.
Yeah.
Because every girl is a fan of One Direction. I'm a fan of One Direction, dude.
Yeah.
They had some bangers. And she said that what happened with Liam, he had mental health issues, but he would wear this paperclip necklace. And it was like a sign or like a symbol of someone not killing themselves. But when he was found and he had already died after he fell from the balcony.
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing it, and apparently like the day of or the day before, he had like a social media post and he wasn't wearing it either.
Really?
So very sad, man.
I also heard
Very
something.
sad.
I heard something on, I think it was X, about like right before he got on the elevator or a little bit before that day, he looked at somebody at the hotel and was like, I was in a boy band and that's why I'm so fucked up. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
I haven't, but I
Yeah.
mean, we cover this stuff more and more in terms of like child abuse in Hollywood.
Right.
But child stars too, not just the actors. This is real, man. And
Yeah,
these kids, like when they grow up, you see Justin Bieber. We talked about that.
Who's not doing good right now from what I hear.
No. Anybody. Amanda Bynes, that whole Nickelodeon documentary.
Yeah.
Drake Bell. All that, man.
Right.
Miley Cyrus too. The Sprouse brothers. Like, this is not something that's normal. And
No.
when you have that much attention when you're a child, when you're a young adult, it could break you, man. It could break you because there's not a lot of people that were in that same position before. And so you can't really get guidance from everybody. And God forbid you get like somebody touches you inappropriately, they molest you on the set, and now
Right.
you have a power player behind the scenes who has
Yep.
all this leverage over you, and like
Yeah.
nobody believes you. It's tough, man. I feel bad. I don't know if Liam was abused or not, but it's sad, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it calls for speculation, and even if it's not, an abuse situation, drugs are obviously a big thing that we see repetitively through young people that become famous.
Especially when you're that age, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate. I mean, we could sit here and we could name, I don't know, hundreds of child stars that then have gone on to become drug addicts, but
Yeah.
ultimately, like, we could just be speculating that it was something to do with touching, molesting, anything
But
like
you don't
that.
know.
No, you don't know. But also, like, I don't know if you saw there used to be like a Michael Jackson documentary out, and there was some other, like, I can't think of the stars off the top of my head now, but they talk about the overworkedness of performing, of practicing your performance. You're, just constantly, if you get it wrong. And then I can only imagine, these boys were bringing in millions of dollars.
And they were killing it.
Right. They had girls all over the
They
country
were killing it.
that loved them, that wanted to, go to their concerts, wear their shirts, everything. So they were making millions of dollars And so whoever was running that group, I'm sure they were worked. I'm sure they were abused. I'm sure when you get up to that height, I do not believe that there's not some form of abuse, whether it's verbal, physical, sexual. Like there's got to be. There's got to be.
It said they broke up in 2016, and that's right like when the Me Too movement was happening. So anything before that, I mean, there wasn't a light shine on that in Hollywood in their industry.
No.
Very sad. Prayers and condolences to his family and all his
Absolutely.
fans. It's a tragedy. To segue, do you know who Elizabeth Warren is?
I do.
Also known as Pocahontas.
I do.
So Elizabeth Warren, a senator from Massachusetts, a politician who has been in there a long time.
Yep.
She was called out on something, shied in a debate with a guy that's probably not going to beat her. Republican senator or candidate for senator, I believe, called her out for her willingness to cover up or not bring awareness to the situation with Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
In the debate. And she did not answer what this guy said.
Yeah.
He questioned her about Epstein and nothing happened.
Got it.
So we're going to play this, and I think it's going to be very telling. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Here we go.
JP Morgan Chase available for questioning, and they had financed the largest child sex trafficking operation in history with Jeffrey Epstein. And you know, Senator Warren didn't ask a single question. She wanted to talk about crypto because she's so hyper-focused. Now, I know that because I was raped as a child for a period of 2 years, I might be a little more sensitive to those child rape victims. But I want to ask Senator Warren, why would you not ask one question?
Look at her.
JP Morgan Chase
Look at her.
settled for
Real quick.
$209
Look at her. Look at her, okay? So, spoiler alert.
Hang on, before you get into that, dude, I was sitting here and I was kind of laughing with what he was saying, like attacking her. And then when he went, oh, this is fucked up. When he was like, I was raped for 2 years, you know, as a child or whatever, my face just completely went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so then you pan to her, and I guarantee you, if you put up a side-by-side and post, we look the exact same.
I know.
Going, whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So look at her. So she was talking about crypto and how we have to regulate the crypto market, right? And then he says, yeah, you know, we should focus on that, whatever. But then and it just calls out her willingness to cover up for Epstein because, as you'll see, he'll talk about Clinton. Listen to this, man.
$90 million to these rape victims. They had to settle with the U.S. Virgin Islands. And Senator Warren doesn't ask a question. You want to know why? Because a former Democrat president's involved. Because her donors are involved. Because people that she knows are involved.
Look at her, man.
Again, loyalty to an agenda,
she knows she's
loyalty to a party. I come in, and I want transparency on everything. I'd like her to answer the question on behalf of all those rape victims, though.
Mr. Diamond, you've been CEO of JP Morgan for almost 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different thing. But to kind of spoil it for you, she doesn't answer the question.
No.
She doesn't. She literally doesn't. Even when she's confronted about it, she does not answer the question. And so I think it's very telling, folks. There are not only actors, actresses, musicians, people in power, but also, too, politicians that are covering for Jeffrey Epstein
1,000%.
still to this day because there are other people implicated that are still alive to this day.
Oh,
very well. We can talk about that.
Well,
he might
I'm just
be
saying,
involved.
it's got. Do you think that they're involved? Let's get into that.
All right, we're gonna get into it.
Do you think that Diddy and Epstein are connected by any means?
Yes, they had to
be.
They had to have two billionaires. Or what the hell is this? This is three. This is three. Two billionaires.
Sex trafficking billionaires.
Both had. I think they were adjacent to each other. I don't know if they were directly involved with each other, but I think they definitely crossed paths.
Yeah.
They had to have.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are rumored to be on the Epstein client list, which, by the way, if Trump gets in, it's coming out.
Right.
Elon literally said it is coming out.
Right.
So if you are on the fence and you are skeptical but everything else, right, if you have one hope for that Epstein client list to come out, vote for Trump. Anyway.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. And obviously, we're both voting for Trump. Why is he releasing that knowing that his name's on that list? Because do you think he knows that he did nothing wrong there?
Yeah.
He has to.
Well, he knew Epstein. He was like not associate, but like they were both billionaires in New York at the time.
Right, exactly.
As I itch my foot.
So they know each other. And I mean, I know
there's
Trump.
There's pictures,
I know
obviously.
Trump was at the island, but I mean, I think everybody just wants to harp on Trump being at that island. That's just like us.
Was he there for sure?
I think so.
I'm not sure, but I know Bill Clinton was there 27 times.
Yes.
Where
I
have
thought-
you flown 26 times?
I don't even know that I've flown 26 times.
I haven't flown 26
Yeah.
times.
I've definitely never flown 26 times to go look at underage women.
Have you flown 26 times with a known pedophile?
No.
Convicted, actually.
No.
And was on house arrest.
No.
Actually.
I have not.
Oh, well, neither have I. I think that's a little bit weird. Have you guys in the comments? Let us know in the comments. Have you flown with a convicted pedophile 26 times? I don't think you have because you're a sane person.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's weird. I think there was definitely a connection with Diddy and Epstein. There had to have been, bro.
Yeah.
There absolutely had to have been. Even if they were adjacent, they definitely knew about each other.
Did Trump say that he never went to that island for some reason? I feel like I might have just been told and just thought all along that he was on the island, but
I'm not sure.
In my mind, he was on the island but didn't do anything.
I don't know.
I
don't know. But like some of the people that they're saying were on the island, okay, obviously Bill Clinton, and it's basically proven. Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, and then we have Kevin Spacey, who admitted to going to the island on
Right.
Piers Morgan.
Right.
Literally admitted to going on the island with Piers Morgan. Okay, then we have the other people, the questionables, the people are suspecting.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, George Clooney.
I saw Will Ferrell.
Oprah.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, I saw that too. Will Ferrell, Will Smith. Who else was there? I think I saw, what's his name? Was in Friday, the comedian.
Oh,
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Chris
yeah.
Tucker, which that kind of shocked me too. I like Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, I mean, there was that fake list that was going around of like all the Diddy people, and like the issue is you need to be ready to immediately hate your most favorite actor, your most favorite movies, to never watch those movies again, to never look at that actor again. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say it, Drake. Straight up, man.
Yeah.
Straight up,
Yeah.
okay? I have loved Drake. I have defended Drake. I have been listening to Drake since I was 9.
Yeah.
Maybe 9. I found Drake first. If I found Kendrick first, I would like Kendrick more. But I found Drake first. I am prepared to stop listening to him,
Yeah.
bro. Because I'm sorry, all this stuff, not even with Kendrick, the pedophile stuff with Kendrick, but just seeing more and more how he acts, how he dresses, and he's 38 years old. He's dressing like a girl. He's got ponytails and he's dressing like a girl.
Yeah.
He's wearing like painting his fingernails. He's painting his fingernails, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I definitely. It's that.
Even when
I don't want to call it flamboyant because obviously
no,
Drake's
it's
not flamboyant.
But like
it's
even
just,
when he released a bunch of stuff in this over the summer, end of the summer, on an Instagram account, a couple of unreleased songs, which were good. I liked them.
Yeah.
But one of them was a cover for Certified Lover Boy, and instead of the 12 pregnant emojis, it was a bunch of like naked women just laying all over over his living room. But it was like drawn out.
Yeah.
And I agree. And people were like, listen, like Kendrick just said all this stuff about you. Why are you releasing this?
Right.
Deviant behavior for sure. And Diddy and him had an incident in like 2014 where like Diddy slapped Drake and it was a whole thing.
Right.
And there was beef there.
Yeah.
Over the started from the bottom beat, which I don't know what Diddy would have done with that. Allegedly Drake stole it. But it's very sad that he would put that out knowing about all the shit with Kendrick. I believe a decent amount of it is true. I don't know if he touched little girls. I think he has to be. I hope he's not
But it doesn't
involved.
ultimately mean like he touched little girls. I mean, there's so much that goes into Diddy.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I mean, he could have been there, had no interaction with anybody underage,
just-
but still, took advantage of somebody who was under the influence or who was drugged. Like, I feel like Diddy's house is just a fucking literal nightmare. It's
I
a
just
literal
hope that
nightmare.
Drake like. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No.
I really hope that Drake isn't implicated.
You have to be
'cause
ready. Like I said, you
it'll
have to be
hard
ready
for
to
me.
let him go.
It'll be hard for me, for sure. And I ultimately will still listen to a couple songs.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I grew with Drake, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's an artist. I mean, everybody, if you have that artist that you grow up with and, like, they're still making good music to this day for, like, a decade and a half, it's tough, man.
Right.
It's tough.
But the issue that I have with the Diddy situation is that it's another one of those sex rings or whatever was going on there, criminal activities that happened for decades. And what happens with musicians, it goes by decades. Some people slip through the cracks, other people promote and are able to make good music throughout the decades. But Diddy, you look at how many decades he's been popular.
Oh, gosh.
How many decades has Diddy been popular? How many hands has
3.
he had on How many hands has he had shifting and shaping certain singers, rappers?
It's been 3 decades, like
Right.
legit. They have they opened back up an investigation into Tupac's murder because they suspect Diddy was part of it in some way, which is very crazy, man.
I mean, like I've said it before. Before all this shit came out, it's now ingrained in my brain, and I don't know if we'll ever find the clip. But Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura on Two Bears One Cave were talking about rappers. They were talking about Diddy, and they were talking about like Diddy being this like strong, scary figure, rapper, like one of the most dangerous rappers.
It's not gonna load.
No, it's okay.
But it is definitely. I mean, the industry hinted at this for a long time. It's if you want to find it,
I'm
please,
gonna try.
and then you could play the audio into your mic if you want.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I feel like it's been a long time, and I don't know why it came out like this late. But also too, with the rise of Twitter being a truly like free speech platform, right? Twitter is now truly free, and so now the people have power, and you don't have like mainstream media with the guardrails on it anymore. You know what I mean? And so we'll see.
I'm not gonna find it on. No, I'm not gonna.
Which is
find
fine.
it that quick.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But people are outraged, and so we'll see what comes of that.
Right.
I hope Drake's not implicated. But speaking of outrage, we are going to segue. Ryan Scheidmantel, do you know who Angel Reese is?
Let me see. Has she thrown elbows at my white queen, Caitlin Clark?
She has. Yes, so Angel Reese is in the news for a negative reason recently, actually. She has been sexualizing herself, and people on the internet are kind of calling her out as a hypocrite, actually, because Angel Reese, if you guys remember that infamous post-game interview when she was a big part of March Madness, she specifically said how she's getting threats and how men are sexualizing her online. Actually, we have the clip right here, so yeah, take a listen.
I've been attacked so many times. Death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong. I've been attacked so many times.
We're going to hear that one more time real quick.
Death threats, I've been sexualized,
She's been sexualized, and she's crying about it. This was about a year ago, I believe, maybe 2 years ago. But Angel Reese in this video is crying because she, in her own eyes, is being sexualized. Well, folks, she is sexualizing herself nowadays because I guess her play on the court is not up to par.
I've been literally staring at that bottom left picture,
and we'll get to
her
that.
ass. I've just been staring, like that's what's been there.
So, folks, this is Angel Reese today.
Right.
This is her on Wilding Out. If you remember in that clip that we played, like 30 seconds ago, she was crying about being sexualized, and I see a little bit of ass here.
I mean, it's a whole lot of ass.
But you know what? Maybe we're nitpicking. Let's go to the next photo. Oh, is that
she's in lingerie?
Is that lingerie?
Oh,
I think that's ass. Is it not?
Oh no.
Would that be considered sexualizing herself?
Oh no.
But I don't know. Maybe this is just another bad photo. Let's go to this
maybe
one.
it's AI.
Oh
my God! Holy
wow! Wow!
We can't even show this on YouTube, can we?
And I don't want to.
Yeah. So basically, folks, for those of you at home who can't see this, her pussy's basically out. You can damn near see the whole thing.
But she doesn't want to be sexualized.
No, but my issue is I feel like no athletes used to pose in like a slutty, raunchy, body positivity way until Sports Illustrated, like the Sports Illustrated like swimsuit edition or Sports Illustrated whatever. That is so like out of the picture nowadays.
I mean,
and
dude,
now it's just like, let me just pose in lingerie for what photo shoot was this for?
Look at this. I have no clue. I don't even think it was for Sports Illustrated. I don't know.
Right.
But you see,
no, it wasn't, because I don't think Sports Illustrated has ever done fucking lingerie.
So they made
suits.
AI porn of her, right?
Oh,
and so
no.
right there, this the caption, right? Was Angel Reese reading from a script when she said she's being sexualized? I'm confused now. People in the comments. So making AI porn of her is okay to you? Quote, I've been sexualized.
Nick Cannon's next baby mama.
People mad Clark just hoops and plays basketball and not into all that other stuff when Angel's a little porn star rebounding. No shit. Oh my gosh. Looks good. She's sexualizing herself. Okay. So Angel Reese was called out, actually. She was called out online for sexualizing herself by a TikToker. And we're going to listen to it. Here we go.
See, I had a lot of respect for Angel Reese until I realized something. Let me explain. See, at first I believed the hype, like, yo, we gotta protect the black sis because they trying to compare her to Caitlin Clark and scrutinize her name. And then I realized Angel Reese is just the female version of the rapper who get a big-ass record deal but can't stop going to the hood because he want everybody to make sure that they know he's still one of them until it's too late. Or the dude who grew up in the suburbs but want to tell everybody he's from the hood because he got a few homies out of there and gets himself in trouble that he should not be in. So you let this chick who got dumped by a white boy for Taylor Swift talk about not going 50-50, but in the same conversation said she couldn't even pay no car note when he left her. Why you entertaining this knowing you got over $1.8 million in endorsements? Yep. See, you had us out here supporting you when you was up there crying about being sexualized and being a victim, but every time I see you double cheeked up. How I see you double cheeked up more than I see you getting double doubles, and every 5 seconds you talking to a ratchet rapper or somebody's side chick. Make it make sense.
Yep.
If you go on Twitter right now and type in Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, you'll see a bunch of clean images of Caitlin Clark and a bunch of basketball highlights. But Angel Reese, all you see is negative write-ups of her and her ass cheeks out. She's about 2 seasons away becoming a rapper's baby mama versus being a potential Hall of Famer. Now, when all else fails, Angel, don't try to cry victim and say black women are disempowered because you chose to show your ass cheeks instead of being a good role model for what a black woman with some money and fucking making history should look like. You did it to yourself. I'm gone.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with him.
He put it great.
Yeah.
He put it great. Right there, man. There you go.
Right. But the issue is we're going to get attacked for not being body positive.
Shut, I don't care.
Women can do whatever the fuck they want to do with their bodies.
Okay,
with,
but
listen, whatever.
He made a good point though. This Angel Reese, this woman, is supposed to be a good role model for little girls.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is we're gonna get attacked by those people, but they're not gonna look at what the actual facts are.
But like, it's just terrible because
right.
Your little kids are watching you, little girls are watching you who want to become you, and you're just gonna create more thoughts. I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's how it is, dude. So it's very frustrating.
Right.
And I did not give 2 shits about this topic at all, but I saw it resurfacing in the news, and I thought Angel Reese was a good player in the WNBA, whatever.
Yeah.
Followed Caitlin Clark a little bit because they're both good players.
Yeah.
But this is tragic, man. It's not a good sign for anybody that wants to follow her.
Right.
Anybody that looks at her as a role model.
Right.
Not good. You're doing a good disservice.
I have a question for you that I'm going to pose, and it has to do with what's going on with Angel Reese and everything like that. But do you think that men now are more desensitized to the female body?
Yes.
Because of
porn.
What they wear. Well, okay, yeah, porn and how readily accessible it is. But I was more or less saying, like, when you see Angel Reese like that, when you see, posing for a lingerie shoot, like how many times back in the day was, she's hot, but they're wearing their basketball jerseys. They're wearing, back in the WNBA wasn't that big. I don't know how many hot people were playing, but
it started in the 90s.
Right. I was just saying it wasn't that big for people to be like that. But I mean, ultimately, like, I genuinely think that males are more desensitized to the female body in a certain respect for it. Does that make sense?
And I think that's true. I mean, something
and I
like
don't want to be sexist.
No,
when I
you're
say
not.
that.
You're not. But this is an interesting point. I haven't thought about this until recently. What Angel Reese did when she wore that lingerie and she had that lingerie shoot. Bro, back in the 80s, back in the 70s, that was porn.
Right.
That was porn.
Right.
I mean, rarely
you were
did you
jerking
get
off to Macy's ads.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, maybe you got a nipple here or there, but like that was basically
it was like
porn.
it was always a nipple through a white shirt.
Yeah.
Though. You were never getting like almost full crab out.
And now, like, you have like stepmom and stepson. No, I'm just saying. And, like,
it is. It's gone like, crazy.
The most
animated.
Yeah, the most messed up shit.
Right.
Like girls shitting on guys.
Oh my
I've
God.
heard that's a big fetish too. Like that's a thing. Where does it go? And then too, when you hear this bleeds into relationships.
Right.
When you talk about porn, I think that is one of the legit biggest threats to
I
men.
agree with you.
Men our age.
I
the
agree
biggest
with you.
threat because society has been pushing it on us.
Right.
From birth.
Right. And we don't, if you want to see us talk dirty, you can go back to the old episodes. But like, what I think of it, and you don't have to answer this, but just think it in your head. Like, when did you first see porn? Like, when did you as a kid?
I was like 11.
That was the first time that you saw an actual vagina.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that is insane. That is insane. You ask you ask your parents or your grandparents, like the generations back. Like, I wonder in a non-weird way, when's the first time that you saw a vagina, when you saw people have intercourse? Like, when you're grown up through this and it's readily available at your fingertips, I feel like that's one of the reasons that like maybe kids these days are just so fucked up.
That's
it could
one
be,
reason.
you know, that they're just so sexually devianted because they get so bored with just watching dicks go in vaginas because they've been watching it since they're 11. They're like, hey, why don't you shit down my windpipe, and maybe if you get lucky, I'll fart in yours. Like,
and here's the thing, though, when you were our age, or when you were a teenager in like the 70s or the 80s, there would be a magazine, right?
Yeah.
Or you would have to get a videotape from a store.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan talks about it. People would have to go in the store and then through the beads.
Yeah.
And like, you had to face the shame of actually doing it in person, having an encounter with somebody. Right. Now, bro, I mean, you get one of these,
right,
and you get it in 10 seconds.
Exactly.
It's terrible. It's terrible, and it's setting our generation up for failure.
Yeah, I mean, because I just think it's very funny. Like, okay, think about. People have been out and talked about, like, straight people have been out and they've talked about, you know, they feel some sort of shame because they've watched transgender porn.
Yeah,
you know,
I've heard that too.
Right, so think about that. Think about you going through the beads, doing the whole motion through the store, and you have to look at somebody in the eye to buy transgender porn, to buy chicks with dicks, to buy, like, whatever these porn titles are. You're not going to go to a man, unless you're really sick and fucked up, you're not going to go walk to somebody with that I'm going to jerk off later face and push them like some crazy shit, some women shitting in buckets or like whatever the fuck. Like, and now it's just readily, you could find it on X. Like, it's just readily available.
Dude,
it's
I've
all
heard
there.
about things with horses even.
Oh,
like,
Dr. Hands?
Like messed up shit. Messed up shit. It's very sad.
Shout out Dr. Hands. He's dead now. That's who you're talking about.
It's very sad.
He had a horse fuck him in the ass.
I heard that's what it was.
Bleeding.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's very sad, and not to harp on this subject, but it's setting our generation up for failure.
Oh my
man.
God, it is.
And nobody talks about it. There's nobody that talks about it because people older than us, they don't get it.
No,
you know? They don't get it.
No.
And it can lead to impotence. It can lead to intimacy issues in your relationship.
Right.
Everything, bro. And it is so hard to kick.
Right.
It is so hard to kick. That's all I'll say about it, man. It's very sad. Anyway, Rosie O'Donnell is in the news.
Is she finally doing OnlyFans?
Well, Rosie O'Donnell is in the news. No, to your disappointment, she's not doing OnlyFans. Her daughter actually was arrested on child neglect and drug charges after her infant was found in a house filled with meth pipes.
Oh, Rosie.
Rosie O'Donnell's infant grandson was found living in a Wisconsin house filled with meth pipes, dirty diapers, rotting food, garbage, and razor blades. And the talk show host's daughter was arrested for child neglect and drug possession. Chelsea Belle O'Donnell, who was adopted as a baby by the actress, called cops last month after an apparent dispute with her boyfriend, Jacob Newland, according to reports. Glad she found a man instead of a woman. That's cool.
I mean, honestly, I wish she found another woman so she couldn't procreate. This fucking crazy, methed up looking dumb bitch.
But when cops arrived, the second time in the weeks they'd been called to Chelsea O'Donnell's home, the couple apparently downplayed the incident, according to In Touch. This time, officers said found her 11-month-old son, Atlas, in his room, allegedly near a box of hypodermic needles. Holy shit! Along with a meth pipe in the home containing residue. Bro! Police also found evidence suggesting drug trafficking may have been occurring inside the house as a setup to cook meth was in place, according to the report. Chelsea had 18 grams of meth on her. Wow. O'Donnell was charged with 4 felony counts of maintaining a drug trafficking place, child neglect, possession of meth, and possession of THC. In Touch reported Friday, citing court documents. Marinette County, which sits in just north of Green Bay, charged the younger O'Donnell with 2 misdemeanors, including disorderly conduct and possession of illegally obtained prescription drugs. The house was filled with rotting food and moldy dishes, police said. Inside of the home was disgusting, with milk that stunk so bad it almost made me puke. Dirty diapers, used female hygiene products, uncleaned underwear with feces and bloodstains, and used razor blades on the floor. the documents obtained by In Touch said, according to the outlet. Okay, so number one, real quick, we're just going to say Rosie O'Donnell, the only reason this whole incident is in the news is because it's Rosie O'Donnell's daughter.
Right.
But going forward, how would you let an infant child, a new child, under a year, how would you let a child be around all of this stuff? How awful of a person do you have to be? How high, how under the influence do you have to be to let this happen, bro? That's what we're talking about. This is bleeding into relationships, but our world, there are so many parents who shouldn't be parents, who I know of offhand, who just do not watch their kids, who do not take care of their kids. It is frustrating because we are bringing a new generation of people into the world. Not only did they have to deal with the isolation from COVID and everything not being how it was, and they had to learn from home, and now they have social issues, a bunch of anxieties, a lot of stuff that they haven't developed. But on top of that, there is an entirely new class of parents that shouldn't be parents, and it's so frustrating.
What was her name?
Chelsea O'Donnell.
Chelsea O'Donnell, I'm going to speak to you, parent to parent. I hope to God that you never see your child again. Until you go through some sort of rehabilitation, you're not going to see your child for years. The fact that you let your child around all that disgusting shit, I'll tell you right now, I am the father of a 9-month-old. He just turned 9 months, so 2 months younger than Chelsea O'Donnell's child. When I tell you that the entire time you read that, it just inflamed me. I understand as a new parent, bottles stack up. Diapers might stack up if you're watching him or her alone. But the fact that you are letting this baby crawl around around needle. Like my son gets into everything, and he's 9 months old. So you're going to sit there and you're going to say that it's okay to walk around with shitty underwear on the floor, spoiled milk in the sink, the house stinks, and all you're worried about, razors and needles that are just out in the open. What the fuck is the matter with you? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And the fact that you are even able to say that you are a parent. You're not a parent. A parent is somebody who takes care of a life. A parent is somebody who wants to raise the life, wants to better for that child, and wants that child's life to be the best thing possible. You, Chelsea O'Donnell, are a fucking disgrace, and I hope to God you get the help that you need so that you can go back and realize how fucking stupid you are. That is all. You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
We'll end on that. I'm shaking.
It's enraging.
On a lighter note, Donald Trump, who knows exactly who Rosie O'Donnell is, Rosie O'Donnell's arch nemesis, went to the Al Smith
Rosie
dinner.
O'Donnell, you are a fat, ugly woman, too. So it makes no surprise that your daughter is as fucked up as she is. Fuck you, Rosie O'Donnell. You big blimp bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Fix your family, you dumb whore. Back to Trump.
Donald Trump, who is no stranger to Rosie O'Donnell, was at the Al Smith dinner recently in New York. And so Kamala Harris didn't show up to the Al Smith dinner in New York, right? This is the dinner where traditionally, if you remember back to 2016, Trump made the joke about he ran into Hillary and bumped into her, and she said, pardon me.
Yep.
And, okay, hilarious. So
hilarious joke. And he's got more!
They didn't have it in 2020, but they had it, obviously, now, because COVID isn't happening now.
And who wasn't there, Luke?
Kamala Harris wasn't there. And so Trump made a bunch of different jokes, and we're going to play it for you. They're very entertaining. Here we go.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas.
That was good.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this?
Favorite.
White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
My favorite.
Look at Chuck Schumer. Fuck you, Chuck Schumer.
Racist child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan, A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away.
All right, this is my favorite one coming up.
Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. It looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
Chuck Schumer knows that's a great one. Look at that fucking
That was
smile.
awesome. Okay, so what do we think about that, dude? He's got to win. That was funnier than the pardon me shit. And I
Oh
would,
my God, it was hilarious.
I
He
will
went on a
admit,
tear.
his delivery at times with some of his jokes was a little off.
He's not a comedian.
Exactly.
He's not a comedian. You got to give him a little
Dude,
bit of grace.
That one about Chuck Schumer being
Was
the first,
golden.
he absolutely roasted the whole
Yeah.
Democratic Party.
Yeah.
At the Al Smith dinner, and so.
It was amazing. If you scroll down, I think there's another one that he go up one more. Yeah, right there. No.
Okay, right here.
Just when he had said, unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. That was a great one as well. I mean, he just went through and he roasted them all. And Kamala, you're a pussy. The fact that you didn't go to this, like, at least laugh about yourself. Your husband beats women. Your husband fucked a nanny. Like, just grow up. Accept it, okay?
You saw that video that she made, and we're not going to play it, but you saw that video that she made because she wasn't there.
It was pathetic.
It was very pathetic. Anyway, so somebody else was in attendance at the Al Smith dinner. You know Jim Gaffigan.
Oh my God, I know Jim Gaffigan. Jim Gaffigan is a famous comedian. He is he's made a lot of money making jokes about food. A lot of his comedy's been about food. And,
Well, he's
and
a clean
weight.
comic too. He doesn't swear.
He is a clean comic, and he's very funny. I mean, he is very funny. Kind of a dry humor guy, but perfect for an event like this. And I think he did it great.
Also on the left, but he was there, and he actually talked about all of this, and he roasted Kamala Harris for skipping the Al Smith dinner. So we're gonna play this for you also, and I personally think that you'll enjoy it. Here we go.
You know, this event has been referred to as the Catholic Met Gala. 22% of Americans identify as Catholic. Catholics will be a key demographic in every battleground state. I'm sorry, why is Vice President Harris not here? I mean, consider this. This is a room full of Catholics and Jews in New York City.
I just realized
this
that's
is a layup for the Democratic nominee. I mean, in her defense, I mean, she did find time to appear on The View, Howard Stern, Colbert, and the longtime staple of campaigning, the Call Her Daddy podcast. You know, this event has...
Okay, so, Jim Gaffigan is kind of calling her out.
Yeah.
And me personally, bro, I think that she definitely should have went to this. I mean, the fact that Trump went and... he's been opposed to like the White House Correspondents' Dinner before. He hasn't went, but the fact that he was willing to get poked fun of a little bit and poke fun of other people, which he's so good at.
Exactly.
I mean, it's great, and it's a slap in the face to the Catholic and Jewish people, like Jim Gaffigan said, who were in attendance. Should be a layup for her, but for some reason,
and
bro,
it's designed for somebody like. It's designed for somebody like Kamala. All you have to do is sit there and take the jokes. I mean, they are all jokes, but at the end of the day, you can probably assume that most of that room is voting for
her.
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
So I mean, ultimately, it was a pussy move.
I think so too. I think so too. And I mean, it's just another theme. It's the same theme of this campaign.
Yeah.
She is not caring. She is not putting emphasis on the stuff that she should.
The important stuff. No, because it's all the pandering to getting new voters. I feel like what she's it makes no fucking sense.
But I don't understand, though.
I don't either, because I want to run through the list that Jim Gaffigan just said. Colbert, which is a late night show, obviously. I don't know.
All those people are voting for her.
Right, I get that. So I don't know who she's trying to go on there and drink a beer in front of. Like, anybody who's not voting for Kamala Harris isn't watching Stephen Colbert.
She did not drink a beer, first of all.
Right.
She sipped the foam.
Right. But what I'm saying is anybody watching that show, Colbert,
yeah,
they're not voting for Trump. They're
agree.
not voting for Trump. They can't stand to watch Stephen Colbert around this time of year. So there's one. The second one, the Call Her Daddy podcast, like we talked about, she's pandering to that 18 to 24-year-old female vote. That's just, I don't understand the pandering of it.
And we saw the views too. It wasn't good.
Right. Then you have The View. I mean, The View, all you're really pandering to are older women or
wine-drunk moms.
Right. Like, they're in suburban neighborhoods. Like, there's no people that are recording The View so that they can watch it when they get home. Like, that's not fucking happening.
They're all watching it at home
The View
already.
probably gets, I would say, 1 million views each episode, and that's a stretch.
Yeah.
And by 1 million, I'm also talking about 500,000 of those are just daytime television TVs inside a doctor's office.
By the way, which is also true. By the way,
Right.
to put it in perspective, 1 million sounds like a lot, but Joe Rogan gets like 20 million per episode.
Exactly.
So don't even say that's
exactly.
a lot.
And then you have the Howard Stern show. Who the fuck still listens to Howard Stern?
Who listens to
Number
Sirius
one.
XM? First
Number one.
off,
And
holy
then-
shit.
And then are we just going to forget about the absolute maniac that Howard Stern was in the 90s, in the early 2000s?
He was having women sit on radios and have orgasms due to how much the radio vibrated. Are we going to forget about that?
He was doing that. He was asking very uncomfortable questions, probably is inside of the Me Too movement. Nobody's came out and said anything, though. But go back and listen to his podcast clips. It's disgusting. The entire interview, I was waiting for him to ask Kamala to rub her bush on the fucking mic. Like, there's... how do you have that
by
separation?
the way, would have been a better interview.
It would have been a banger.
I
It would have been a banger.
I would have listened at least.
Oh.
Because I would be interested. In
I want to know how Harry, like...
And also, too, what a shame to The Office once again.
Could you imagine if Howard Stern was like, go ahead, baby, put your pussy on the mic. And she's just like this.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That's not where I thought this was going to go at all. And
anyway.
Wow. Next topic.
Oh
my!
that was a good one,
gosh.
Luke.
That
You
was
gotta
fun.
laugh.
That was
You
funny.
gotta laugh.
No, but okay, we're gonna stay on this for one more second.
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
What a shame to The Office. First of all, going on things like Call Her Daddy when they're talking about. I mean, people are calling it a sex podcast. I don't know what it is. It's a very big podcast, but.
It's predominantly sex. It's predominantly a sex podcast.
When the podcast is centered around like giving blowjobs and anal and
body
all that
count,
stuff.
like
body count, right?
they put body count on a high pedestal.
Yes,
over
and
there.
then Howard Stern going back to it. I mean, like he would always talk about sex, and he always had these
degrading
girls,
women,
actresses, musicians, right? And he would try to make them orgasm on radio. Had strippers in the studio on the shows. And for Kamala Harris to go on these shows as a presidential candidate, I feel like it really puts a shame on the office, on the office of president. It's very disrespectful, and it denigrates it. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
It denigrates it, truthfully. So, I don't know. I just feel a way about it, and that's all I'll say. Anyway,
back to our daddy.
Something that we're very, very excited about on this show is Trump announcing he was going to go on Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually broke the news on the Nelk Boys. Elon Musk was talking about it, and he said that Trump is going to go on Joe Rogan, and obviously Elon Musk, very strong ties to Joe,
and Trump.
Yeah, and Trump. Right now, especially. But Trump went on Nelk and he did a podcast. It was like 40 minutes. It was good.
Right.
But he confirmed that he was actually going to go on Joe Rogan. So take a listen.
I would love to see you on. I think Joe Rogan has to have you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure I would.
I think Joe, like, besides us, Joe's...
I think I'm doing it, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you are going to do Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I am.
Joe Rogan's the best in the game, for sure. And I think, you know...
Did Joe become so well known because of the UFC, and he does a great job with that, right? What was it that made Joe the best?
During COVID, you know, he was very outspoken on all the corruption going on during COVID. And I think that's personally when I started watching him a lot too. And just, he's an honest guy too, right?
He is.
So I think...
Good guy.
Good guy. And I think you guys together would just
And he's got a good voice. That's important.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of podcasts recently. One that I would love to see you on is, I think Joe Rogan has to have you on.
All right, so real quick,
I just wrote it down because it was a joke of, trying to kind of put all the ties together. Has John Daly been on an episode of Joe Rogan? I think he has.
If he has, it was a while ago, I think.
I want to say that he might have, even if he didn't. Like, I look at all the ties around Joe Rogan. He had Kid Rock on. He obviously works for the UFC, which is owned by Dana White. Kid Rock, Dana White, both one of Trump's best friends. And then you have Elon Musk, who Joe Rogan has had on a few times. And Elon Musk has, I think Joe and Elon, they've both advocated for each other. They've both kind of made like a, they've never degraded each other in the public eye.
Oh, no, they're very good friends.
Right.
Very good
so
friends.
then I feel like there's just this weird like tension between everybody of like, hey, get Trump to sit down with Joe. Like what?
But you know why? Joe's a liberal. Like,
Joe is a liberal.
He's an old school liberal, and he said before, this is way back, I believe 2020. I mean, he's had Bernie Sanders on, right?
Right.
But he said he didn't want to bring an audience to that guy, and he didn't want to support Donald Trump.
He said that on Lex Friedman, yeah.
Right. Because of obviously everything that's gone on with Trump. Trump is a divisive figure. He's very polarizing. He said he didn't want to play into like toxic tribalism.
Yeah.
But with everything that's happened on the left now, more and more and more stuff, and him and Michael Malice in particular, I think it was Michael Malice, but it's been more people obviously too.
Yeah.
They completely trash Kamala, completely trash her because of her stance against free speech. And especially Joe too, during 2020, 2021, the vaccine mandates, Kamala was right there pushing a vaccine against people's will. And so Joe Rogan was the big voice against all that stuff and for freedom.
Yeah.
He is one of the true Americans that we have in media right now. And we're a better world for him. But I think it's really telling. And it was only bound to happen, man.
Right, I agree.
And so something I want to play for you too, because I thought this was very interesting. This is Patrick Bet-David almost a year ago. And he was saying, and Patrick Bet-David has a background in insurance, right? Selling insurance. And so here's his sales. He puts on a salesman hat here, and he grills Joe basically. Tells him, you're going to interview Trump, and here's what's going to happen. What questions are you going to ask? You're the perfect guy. So we're going to play this also for you guys, and then we'll react to everything. Here we go.
So when you're having Trump on?
I don't know.
Okay. The look.
I don't know. Maybe.
Looks like you got something.
Maybe.
Okay, good. That's good. I think that's...
look, at a certain point in time, it's just like, it would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office? I would like to know things like, what is it like versus perception?
Yeah.
What is it actually like when you get in that building? Like, what are you greeted with? When do you know that people are fucking with you? When do you know that the intelligence agency is lying to you? Like, when you decided to fire Comey,
It's gonna be amazing.
what was the thought? How much did you know? Like, what's the machine like? What is the deep state really like? Really like? Because we have all these, smoky room perceptions, like from the Bill Hicks joke, where they show you the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. What is the machine that runs this country? Because it's very clear that it's not as simple as elected representatives that are doing the will of the people.
Right.
And that's it.
I mean, and that's the beauty of having Joe Rogan interview Donald Trump down the line is Joe, I feel like, speaks... Joe's brain is wired like 90% of males on this planet, where it's like he's going to ask the questions that, okay, in this situation right now where we're at, a couple... what is it? How many days till election day?
Bro, we got
15.
like 16, 15.
16,
yeah.
15. So...
Shit.
So they're going to... What?
Shit, we have 15 days until... 14 when you guys hear this.
Yeah.
14 days until election.
Yeah,
Shit.
It's crazy.
Oh, sorry, continue on. My fault.
But no, you're good. What I was saying is there's so many questions and topics that were asked with every Trump interview that he was on, and it's ultimately just Trump trying to sell himself to get into the White House, which I feel like could be the issue, but also could be the benefit of of Trump going on Joe Rogan. And what I mean by that is Joe is going to ask him questions about the reality of what is it like to be president.
And nobody has ever
and
asked him that.
Nobody really wants to know that right now, because everybody interviewing him just wants him to talk and talk about what he's going to do with the economy, what he's going to do with his policies, wants to hear him trash Kamala, do those different kind of things, where it's like, okay, in reality, like, I feel like Joe is going to ask a lot of questions that we didn't necessarily think to ask.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Bet-David was probably the closest on this. Schultz did too, though, on Flagrant 2.
Yeah.
They did good, and PBD recently had him on a couple days ago. And
they both did good, but nobody asked him about the cabal. Nobody asked him about the deep state. Did PBD?
PBD did. He said, is anybody more powerful than the president? He said, who's behind everything? And Trump basically said that the president has all the power. But that was it.
It's wrong.
Kind of shut it down. Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah.
So I want to see Joe really grill him because PBD didn't grill him.
Right.
It was a good interview, but PBD didn't grill him. Joe will grill him. Jordan Peterson talked about this.
And it probably honestly won't be anything that Donald Trump will or can say on camera.
Well, who knows though,
whether
dude?
He well, I know
that's
that.
The thing about Joe. Joe Rogan is such an out of the box interviewer.
He'll just get him stoned, and then
oh my gosh, wouldn't that be something? But you don't know. You don't know what's happening. I don't know how long it's going to be. The Bernie interview was like 50 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was interesting.
But I think Trump's campaign knows how important a Joe Rogan interview is, and I think anything less than at least an hour and a half, somebody will have something to say about it. It was only an hour and a half.
But he went on. He was on Flagrant for about an hour and a half, and then same with PBD for an hour and a half.
I would
both
like to
great
see,
interviews.
They're both great interviews, great podcasts, but still don't have that. I would say PBD is the closest to Joe Rogan. Right now, but nobody pulls like Joe Rogan pulls, and it would be phenomenal.
It would win him the election.
We were talking about the
October surprise.
That
could be it,
and I think that would be it. I think that would be the big one, and ultimately, it's just very, very weird that we're like, oh, we're so excited for a podcast to drop. I don't know. Do you
think it happens?
What?
The Joe Rogan interview.
So we don't have the clip pulled up, but I did listen to the opening of PBD and Trump.
As did I.
And he was saying something about going on Rogan. And Trump kind of just said, am I? I don't know. I think I am. I don't know. Like, he was like, fishing for it, so nothing's really set in stone yet. But again,
Joe hasn't confirmed it.
Joe hasn't confirmed it, but ultimately, I mean, I don't know. Do we track where Trump's? Because I'm assuming it would be in Austin. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact, but I would imagine it would be. He would
have to have an Austin or a Texas rally
in Joe's thing, so it would have to be the Texas rally.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if he has one scheduled or what, but also too, like that would be the same thing as Theo lives in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Theo went to.
He did.
Why am I blanking? Help me out.
New Jersey.
No.
Well,
they met.
Who went to the golf course? Was it the Ed that went to the golf course?
I thought Theo was at Trump's house. Or maybe he wasn't.
I think it was the golf course in New Jersey. I'm not sure, but
anyways, but they were traveling for it. So I could ultimately, I don't know, because Joe's been kind of adamant about like when he does his show, he obviously does it in his studio with Jamie. But I mean,
that's how I want it.
I talked about it with my cousin last night. Like they teased the Kamala Harris going on Joe Rogan, and it really is like the funniest thing to think about of Kamala Harris just spewing her retarded bullshit that she always does, and Jamie sitting there fact checking her in real time. Like
Jamie doesn't care, but she's not going on. Anyway, speaking of Kamala, as a Catholic myself, as a Christian myself, as Christians here ourselves, you see the sign right. You see the sign right here, right?
Get right with God.
Right. So if you didn't already know that we are Christians, now you know. Well, Kamala Harris apparently does not like Christians. She actually kicked out a Christian who was saying Jesus is Lord at her rally. What did you think about this, Shide?
I had the great honor of watching Alex Jones talk about this. And he tied it all back into a devil-worshipping Democratic, huge deep state issue, and the globalists, and everything that Alex Jones always says. Which I mean, it ultimately is just pure entertainment, and I love it. When you have Kamala Harris kicking out somebody for, I mean, and she probably didn't even know what he was saying. Let's be real here, but also she could have. But like to kick somebody out and then ultimately it come back and they were talking about Jesus, you're fucked. Your campaign's over. Like,
well, let's listen to this because there's multiple versions of this. Here we go.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
All right, hold on. I could barely hear it.
I don't know that.
Oh, you guys are at the.
I don't know.
Well, hold on. All right, so here, we're going to play this for you again. This is allegedly when they said Jesus is Lord right here, the person in the crowd.
Intended.
I can hear
you guys
something
are at
like...
the wrong rally.
Let's see what happened there.
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
All right, so obviously she kicked them out, said they should go to the smaller one down the street. But there was a different one. There was a different angle. And so hopefully we'll be able to hear. So this is right here. They said Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. And we'll see. I was able to find this different angle. Hopefully we could hear it better because I don't know if they said that. Okay, yeah, so somebody did say it.
Yup, that's true.
All right, so real quick, this is not alleged. Somebody did say Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. So it's up all the way, but if you guys listen, you'll be able to hear. Somebody in the crowd did definitely say this. Which, by the way, I will say, not a lot. Nowhere.
I was about to say that's a small crowd.
Nowhere near the amount of people
Right,
that Trump has.
right.
But that's whatever. And so, okay, real quick here, we're just gonna play this again. I stopped recording on here, but I shouldn't have. So Kamala, after she kicked out the Christian at her rally, got absolutely shat on online. Okay. We look at the comments, right? So there was the viral video of her completely kicking out the guy, the Christian, who said, Christ is King, Jesus is Lord.
Yeah.
The video has, as we can see right here, over 1.2 million followers, this Christian page that posted this. And here's the post, right? So we see the video, not the video, but the picture, nice little graphic of Kamala. And then we have the stats, right? Here are the comments, okay? So we have this Christian page, it's called Jesus, posted this video of Kamala kicking out the Christian. In the comments right here, a couple comments, right? She got torn up.
Right.
It says right here, when you mock Jesus, you pay a price. Looks like the Antichrist has finally been revealed. Trump is my president. Jesus is my Lord button. Not very inclusive of her, which is true, by the way.
It is true.
But like she got absolutely torn up.
Yeah.
Absolutely torn up.
And she deserves. And I'll play to the devil advocate side of, maybe she didn't hear. But ultimately, it looks rough.
Dude,
that was really bad.
Especially, and I'm very
bad.
very happy that we got that second angle, that second video.
Right, because I saw it when it first dropped, was the first video that we watched, and I couldn't hear it. And so there's so many deep fakes and fake shit on X that it's hard to say that it actually happened. But getting that second angle, number one, disproves the part that Kamala said that the rally that Trump was having was smaller down the road, because of course that's never true. And then secondly, how are you going to continue this without mentioning it? Like, how are you going to continue your, like, apologize, at least apologize and say, I did, but that's the issue with Kamala Harris, is that she does not apologize. She does not apologize to the families that had to lose a loved one because of an illegal immigrant coming across her open border. She does not apologize on Fox News when she's talking about, or she does not, contradict anything that she says. She will not accept that, hey, I made a mistake, so let me backtrack this. And I think that's why I have such an issue with my respect level for her.
I know.
Is that she does not say, and obviously, of course, Donald Trump doesn't really either, but how can you say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry about...
We're good.
Yeah. How do you not say I'm sorry?
I don't get that either.
Like, apologize,
so
go
disrespectful.
back.
I mean, you want to talk about different groups of voters, you are alienating a huge block of voters in this country.
Right.
When you kick out somebody who says Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. A majority of our country, the religion is Christian, Democrat or Republican. That's just through and through, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that you are going to alienate an entire religion, like 80% of the religious people in our country are Christian. The fact that you just alienated them, on top of that too, going back to the Al Smith dinner, where it's a Catholic and a Jewish dinner,
and you missed it.
Being Catholic is like right there, right? It's very so connected with being Christian. It's a sect. The fact that you openly just like skipped it.
Yeah.
Why, I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face to Christians and
Right.
Catholics all around the world.
Right.
It's terrible, and you're alienating a voting bloc that you shouldn't have to alienate. There's no reason.
You shouldn't want to. I mean, if you look historically, most Christians are, yes, there's some on the Democratic side, but it's the most important. It's one of the most important things on the right.
Yeah, it's a big
is
block for the
Christianity,
Republicans.
is faith. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans that are in that religious sector.
Yes.
So at this point in time, Kamala Harris, you are not trying to pander to the audience of a wavering vote. There's not a single person, I'm willing to bet, that doesn't know who they're voting for.
I know.
So at this point in time, you're trying to do something so big, so inclusive, prove yourself, sell yourself.
Right.
Like, how are you going to then just go on making mistakes and not apologize? That is why the right hates you so much. That's why there's so much hate for you, Kamala Harris, is because you don't look at what you did in the past and say that was a mistake. Okay? And again, we could sit here and we could harp on Donald Trump, but right now that's not the issue. Okay, right now it's the issue of Kamala Harris. It's the issue of I fucked up. I was the second in command to Joe Biden, and we had a disastrous pull out of Afghanistan.
Last person in the room.
We have a disastrous economy. Our inflation rates are, I think, down now. But this entire 3.5 years,
still bad.
You're right. This entire 3.5 years that your name, Kamala Harris, has been on with Joe Biden, you cannot sit there and just bounce around by saying on The View and by saying on Colbert that you cannot differentiate yourself from Joe Biden, but then expect us to want to vote for you.
It's terrible, man. And I will continue to talk about this, but the Democratic Party is actually, for lack of a better term, they're kind of getting rid of another voting bloc. So Kamala definitely just decide to abandon the Christian voting bloc in America.
So let
which
me
I
ask
don't
you
get.
this before you jump into that.
Okay.
Are they abandoning? Are they abandoning, or
Yeah.
or
I
are
think
they
it's the second
doing
thing.
are they doing a horrible job at pandering to audiences that they think should be voting for them simply because of their race and inciting more division, Luke?
I think that might be the second one. So Kamala completely abandoned the Christian voter bloc apparently, and she no longer wants that vote. Okay, to segue that, now we take a look at President Obama. So over the past week, Obama was in, I believe, Pittsburgh, and he was scolding black men for not wanting to vote for Kamala. And there was a lot of negative reaction to this. A lot of people on the internet did not like this. A lot of black men came out on the internet. Yes, we'll get to. Came out on the internet and said that this was not good. So here's the clip of Obama scolding black men for not wanting to vote for Kamala. Here we go.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
The brothers and y'all. He never says that.
Pandering.
That when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more.
Fuck more men in high positions.
And overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
So basically,
okay, no, real quick, you want to know what pisses me off about that, Shide?
Yeah.
Barack Obama, has never talked slower to any other group of people.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
here's his. You want to talk about unconscious bias? Here's Barack Obama's unconscious bias. He thinks these black men are so stupid, so dumb, because they don't want to vote for Kamala, because they don't want to vote for his party for once in his life. He thinks they are so dumb that he is speaking to them like this, as to say that they're stupid. He thinks that if you're I'm pissed off. Are you a black man in America? Damn it! If you are a black man in America, Barack Hussein Obama thinks you're stupid. He thinks you're dumb.
Yeah.
He is talking to you like you are 2 years old.
Yeah.
He thinks you're an idiot. He knows. He's scolding these men, and they should be able to make. You should be able to make your decision. If you're going to vote Republican or Democrat, who cares? But don't let this fucker influence you.
Exactly.
Look at him. He's so skinny. He looks like he has AIDS, and he might very well have AIDS. He might very well have AIDS. He might very well have AIDS. It just pisses me off, the scolding of celebrities and politicians to get you to vote for somebody who they think you should vote for, who they think is going to be better for you. Fuck that, dude.
And
I hate that.
So bring up the next clip that I know you have queued up, because it's very funny to me that Barack used the terms that a decision that is so clear. Why is it so clear, Barack? You gave no supporting evidence of why it was so clear. All you went back to is that she grew up like you, and that she understands the joy and the hardship of being, black in America?
I just hate the talking down to. And to be fair, Kamala wasn't even black in America because she grew up in Montreal, Canada.
No.
What the hell are we talking about?
Exactly.
It just pisses me off.
Exactly.
I hate when politicians talk down to voters.
Yeah.
I hate that. Anyway, Stephen A. Smith.
Described it perfectly.
He described it. So Stephen A. Smith reacted to this and came out very, very strongly in opposition to what Obama said. So, we're just going to let you guys listen to it too, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
President Obama, what you said is not acceptable. You're basically accusing black men who come up with a reason to not support Kamala Harris as engaging in misogyny. When the mayor of New York was talking about $53 million in prepaid credit cards for immigrants who came across our borders illegally and having prepaid credit cards for them. And I said, wait a minute, black folks been starving for years, we ain't get that. You don't think they notice? Is it possible that it's policy as opposed to misogyny? President Obama.
I'm gonna go on a hot take here, Luke.
Go ahead, Shad.
Do I think that African Americans in current day 2024 deserve reparations for slavery and for oppression that happened years before they were here? No. But would I sit here and say that if I personally could change it without making it any sort of hate, because I know what would happen is it would just divide the country even more, which is ultimately what Kamala Harris wants to do, I would give all the money that we are giving to illegal immigrants crossing the border and give it to African Americans as their reparations. I would rather see it go to a community within the United States of legal citizens. So that is the hot take. I do not agree with reparations, but I
agree with you.
But the issue is you do that and you just create more division within the United States. But I'm just saying, in the fact of America standing united and being together on one topic, I would rather see that happen.
It's a sad story being black in America. Maybe not right now, but the history. Definitely. I don't want to sound too woke, but this is just the facts, man. When you talk about redlining, when you talk about Jim Crow laws, when you talk about all this stuff, it's tragic.
It is.
And the black community has been suffering a lot.
Right.
And so I'm not black. You're not black.
No.
But there's people, especially black conservatives, but black influencers too, even black celebrities that are like saying enough is enough. Like, let's try and see if voting another way helps. I don't know. So Stephen A. Smith, he's traditionally on the left,
right?
And I think he said he's voting for Kamala, but this is crazy because he's on the left and he's saying like, no, this is not okay.
Yeah. And ultimately, under the Trump administration, the black unemployed numbers were at record lows.
Record lows.
If you want to look at somebody who is an ultimate panderer. Look at Barack Obama. He's a huge staple for the black community because he was the first black president. But guess what, fucktards? He did nothing for the black community. He did nothing for the black community.
Maybe Obama. That's it. Obamacare.
Well,
That's
yes,
it.
okay.
That's it.
But what I'm saying is like, in my opinion, when you want to talk about like the division and everything that happens within the United States, you get nowhere with reparations. You get nowhere with reparations.
I agree.
You get nothing more than more segregation. Like that would, I mean, it wouldn't be segregation, but it would be more turmoil within the United States if you were to give up reparations or do something like that, because then whites or other groups are going to look at it and say, well, why are they getting handouts? But ultimately, as a group, as the United States citizens, black, white, Latino, Asian, Chinese, I don't give a fuck what you are. You should look at what's happening within your country. Look at the immigrants that are coming into this country from third worlds, okay? Not trying to make a name for themselves, not trying to better the economy, not trying to better the United States. They are they are lifelong criminals that are coming here, and they just want to destroy, they just want to murder, they just want to loot, they just want to rape. Like, they have no desire to do anything else. Us Americans look at that and get that out of your country. And then we can talk about, hey, why the fuck was the current Democratic presidential party giving so much fucking money to illegal immigrants when that money could be going to blacks, to whites, to Asians are smart. Most of them aren't homeless or struggling, but blacks, whites, Mexicans, like the racial groups that there's people that are struggling. There's white trash, just like there's black trash, just like there's Latina trash. There's trash all across the board. There's people that need help all across the board.
Facts.
Stop pandering to the illegal immigrants, Kamala Harris, and giving them money so they'll vote for you without voter ID, you dumb fucking cunt.
I think you summed that up perfectly.
Thank you.
And to go on to our next topic, speaking of voting, folks, it's 2024, and we have an election in 14 days when you see this.
It's around the corner.
And, well, in Tennessee, they are already having problems. So, in Shelby County, Tennessee, they are receiving numerous reports from voters claiming that the voting machines are flipping their selections.
Yes.
They have a video where one of the election officials is talking about this.
Yes.
And people are also talking about this too. I mean,
it's an outrage. It's an outrage.
We're in Ohio. We have paper ballots. So it's at least where we are. So it's a completely different thing. But yeah, we'll play this video and we'll talk about it.
Shelby County Election Commission member Benicia Kimbrough says several voters reported at least one incident at 10 to 12 precincts across the county. Representatives G.A. Hardaway and Antonio Parkinson, state lawmakers, both on the ballot and part of the Shelby County Democratic Caucus, say they received several calls from voters today. Here's a list of some of the voting sites provided to Action News 5 where voters said they had difficulty. Pressing one candidate, they said that their vote would change from the Democratic candidate to the Republican candidate. Now, Kimbrough says voters must press the name of the candidate and not the box next to the candidate's name. Remember, we're using these new touchscreens for the second time, but this is the largest election we're using them in, this new equipment. Now, Valencia also stressed voters should use a stylus when voting and ask for one if not given one at the polls.
Okay, so real quick, regardless of who you're going to vote for, I think we all want fair and free elections. We want safe elections.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Right. And it's very funny because they're saying that the Democratic vote is going Republican.
Right.
That was what they said in that. But ultimately, then I wonder what happens when you hit Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Does it then go to Democrat? Are they trying to just flip-flop the vote? And that's my issue with online or this, technological voting. And yes, we have paper ballots, but we still insert them into a machine to be read.
Yeah.
After you fill that out, I think that's what the issue with most Americans have is after you make that trip to the polls and then you fill that out and then you put it in a machine or you press a button, what happens? Because technology has gone so fucking far. Elon Musk has rockets being retrieved and coming back down.
That is amazing.
And number one, you can't tell me that votes can't be counted in the same night. And number two, you can't tell me that certain votes can be flip-flopped and switched around. Like
even in Georgia, one of the judges threw out a law or an amendment to the state's constitution where now they're not letting the votes be counted by hand.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it would work. And we would
Right.
know, regardless of if it went red or blue, we would know the night of.
Right. And I like what I was talking with my cousin and his girlfriend last night about this. I like what Elon Musk had said about Election Day. Election Day should be a national holiday that everybody's off and everybody votes on the same day. Okay. But the issue is the left is going to look at Donald Trump proposing this. Oh, Election Day is a national holiday.
They'll say it's
and
racist
he's going to
somehow.
say they're going to say it's racist, and they're going to say that it is he's Hitler. They're going to compare him to dictators, to Nazis, and they're going to say because Donald Trump wants to give them a paid day off of work so that they would vote. Like that is
It's stupid.
That is the brainwashed left wing that would 1000% say that if Donald Trump ever proposed the idea of adding another national holiday.
And they always end up doing what they accuse Trump of doing.
Right.
If you notice that.
Right.
It's terrible. It's just, I don't know. So hopefully we have a free and fair election, truthfully.
Yeah.
I understand there's going to be a percentage of voter fraud, like a 0.5, whatever.
Yeah.
A small, very
That's
small
why you
percent.
make it too big to rig.
Exactly. And hopefully it is too big to rig. Shad, we have one more topic, and this is a surprise topic on the slate.
Was this the surprise you had for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, folks, Alec Baldwin is back, and he's specifically back on SNL.
Which I am so surprised about.
Well, he won his trial.
Well,
But anyway.
I know, but I'm so surprised. Even though he won his trial, he could still be blackballed. You know what I mean?
Well, he's clearly not. And
No.
he wasn't in the new Beetlejuice movie, even though I think his character died in the original one. But anyway, folks, Alec Baldwin is back on SNL, and he's playing Brett Baer, interviewing Kamala Harris.
I haven't seen this skit. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. This is a surprise for both of us. Here we go. That was
SNL is
wonderful.
doing a great job of really just making fun of the whole thing, and that's what I love. Like, to me, it doesn't seem like we've gotten too far down the rabbit hole of Donald Trump is a disgusting person, because ultimately, like, the comedy is in reflecting on that interview. And Brett Baer did push her and was like 1 million, 2 million, and then was like 10 million, 6 million, like, and came with that.
Yes.
So, I mean, I totally understand.
No,
like,
I think SNL is back. 100%.
It has to
when
be.
you go down, Jim Gaffigan playing Tim
Right,
Walz.
right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Even like to the waving.
Yeah.
Everything to a T.
Exactly.
It was hilarious.
Exactly.
And listen, Bowen Yang, I think that's his name, Bowen Yang, when he
Yes.
played JD Vance,
Yes.
that was hilarious.
Yes, yes.
When he was talking about his smoky eye and then he put on the eyeshadow.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's very good. I think SNL's back. Alec Baldwin is a killer.
First of all, yeah. How did they? I kind of like that. Also, too. Hold on. I kind of allegedly.
Did you get
That was good. That was good. But no, Alec Baldwin. I love that they're just pretending like that whole thing on the Rust set didn't happen.
Yeah, he's just
which is
playing
fine
Brett
with
Baer.
me. Which is fine with me.
Yeah.
I like Alec Baldwin.
I do too.
I don't
do
care.
Too. I like Alec Baldwin's Trump. I think
it's brilliant.
I think we need to bring that back.
We should definitely bring it back, and they
Yes.
might. They
Yeah.
might. But it's good to see that the Hollywood cabal
Yeah.
is welcoming him back
Yeah.
with
Luke-
open arms.
Luke, before we end this show, there was something that we didn't do on episode 100 that we need to do today.
We're gonna talk about the Browns.
We're going to talk about the Cleveland dog shit Browns.
All right, real quick. I think they're gonna win. They're playing the Bengals. I think they're like a 2-point favorite at home. They might be an underdog.
They are 4.5 point underdog.
Oh shit! All right. Well.
Yeah. Last time I checked, they were at 4.5.
Nick Chubb's coming back. We're gonna see what that does.
Yeah. Let me check it live here. Keep going.
Nick Chubb's coming back. They're probably going to have him on a snap count. I'm thinking around 10 carries for 78 yards. Maybe he gets a touchdown. That's what I'm feeling. Deshaun Watson, where is that case? Where is that damning video? He settled another case over the weekend, which is awesome. If you're a Deshaun Watson defender, we are rooting for the villain, and we are forced to.
So it looks like the Bengals are closing at a 5.5 point favorite.
Lovely.
So the Browns are looking to not get smoked at home. Somehow they always do come out and perform against Joey Burr. I can ultimately I could see Myles Garrett with 2 sacks today. I did bet on a Nick Chubb anytime touchdown, and I see the Browns winning by 3.
I think they're gonna win 2. If you lose this one, light the stadium on fire.
Oh my God!
Light
burn
the
it down.
stadium on
Burn
fire.
It down.
But
Burn
yeah,
it down.
we'll see what happens. But
Fire episode.
This has been a
dog.
great episode. The slate was organized. Everything was here. Nothing lagged.
No.
Shout out to us, dude.
We're back.
Let's go.
We're back.
Episode 101. If you consider voting for Kamala Harris, then I don't know why you watched the whole episode. If you're
There's
here.
no way.
But I would seek mental help definitely if you are. But look forward to next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about in this ever evolving news cycle, but we'll find out. We'll see ya.